welcome Vili and Johannes from to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Horizon Ignited, these towers, the dying lands, and more things related to the metal world. So, starting with when a common question, when a great welcome. How have you been during these crazy times? We have a pandemic 2 years ago. We started a pandemic 2 years ago. Now a war in Europe. I don't know. I don't know what happened and what will happen in the next couple of years. Perhaps a zombie apocalypse, alien invasion, machine power. No, who knows what happened? We are living at crazy times.
Yeah,
Taking the circumstances, we've been really great. Of course, there is this crazy shit going around in the world, but we try our best to not get it to affect us so much as we possible can.
yeah,
But yeah, we've been fairly good during taking the circumstances.
yeah. And at the moment, things are looking a lot better than they look like in like a 1 year ago. So things are getting better for this band. The world, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, first we had this pandemic. Now we got a war in war in Europe, and well, what's next? I don't know. Maybe the apocalypse. So
Yeah.
it's time to start living your life for the fullest.
Yeah. No, starting with a question. This new album was composed or was written during the pandemic, or was it before? Because your last album, After the Storm, was released in 2019, but 3 years after, you released this new album. Perhaps you did this new album the next year when you're in 2020, or perhaps you written this new album during the pandemic.
I'd say that all the songs that's going to be in Towards the Dying Lands all were written in, I'd say, in early 2021.
2020.
2020. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were already recorded at the end of 2020. So yeah, like the songs in this album, they are from 2019 2020 era.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been hearing this a lot of times, these new towers of the dying and the dying lands, and I see one detail that you bring the essence from the melodic death metal from the 90s, especially from the Swedish scene. And I hear a lot of At the Gates influence, I hear a lot of Scar Symmetry influence. So how do you manage the influence to do your own music? Because sometimes when the reviewers found this kind of influence, they did this a copy paste from the old bands.
Yeah. Of course, we cannot deny that there is like strong influences from the Swedish greats, if we can say so. But I think we have done pretty good job to throw our own ingredients to that mix as well. So it's not just like we just take something that's already done, but I think we have also like uh, have accomplished to throw our own thing in the mix, what makes it Horizon Ignited.
Yeah, I'd say so too. I mean, yeah, there's no denying on that fact that we are heavily influenced by the Swedish bands. In Flames, Scar Symmetry, At the Gates, to name a few. But yeah, that's where we plan to begin our journey. I mean, when we had the meeting where we decided to put up this band and what kind of music we plan to do, there was this name In Flames mentioned on that meeting. So yeah, but that was more of like to set the starting point and have some sort of clue what we are going to do next.
Yeah.
And now after 2 albums, and we've been working for the third already, I'd say that we are starting to find the sound that is Horizon Ignited's own sound and not just the influences. But yeah, well, nevertheless, the first and the second album, they still have their own kind of thing going on. I don't know where it comes from. Is it the metalcore influences or what it is? But it still doesn't sound like exactly like In Flames or At the Gates or Scar Symmetry, and not even a mixture of all these three. There's still something missing,
Yeah.
and that's the part that's missing. That's Horizon Ignited.
Yeah.
Okay, and why didn't you take the Finnish influence? Because you have a great sound or great sound from the from to talking about the melodic death metal like Insomnium, like the
Yeah.
Omnium Gatherer, More Principium Est, and I think the first band, well, you have Children of Bottom, you have them, you have Scamp, the first album from the Swedish
Yeah.
from the Swedish in Scam. So why did you take the Finnish influence into your music and just lean down to the Swedish scene?
It kind of, I think it's kind of a thing that just like it's just like happened, that it wasn't so much like a planned thing to do. Of course, there is still like what I can personally say that what comes to my own playing and composing, that there is also influences from Finnish melodic death metal bands like Children of Bodom and that kind of stuff. But I think that roots of Horizon Ignited, somehow they just went to the Swedish side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, personally, if I think Swedish and Finnish death metal, melodic death metal, and the differences in between those two kind of like subgenres, to me personally, it's kind of a little bit easier to refresh up the Swedish scene. I mean, well, that's just my personal opinion. I don't know what would I have done if we would have taken heavy influences from Finnish melodic death metal. I'd say that we would have not been able to bring that much new stuff on top of the Finnish melodic death metal scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think that in Towards the Dying Lands, that there is few songs that where you can hear more like that Finnish melodic melancholic death metal sound than just Swedish. There is a couple tracks that are more lean to Finland.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Okay. Well, one aspect that I caught my attention is that for these Towers the Dying Lands, you signed with Nuclear Blast. I think the biggest label into the metal world. So how did this happen? Because for a new band, especially, it's a great achievement to sign with a Nuclear Blast. Many bands trying
Yeah.
to sign with Nuclear Blast, trying to do the things, but you did it.
Yeah, uh, it's like
Who came so who came first? Do you approach to Nuclear Blast or Nuclear Blast approach to you?
it's like there lies many things happening that made this thing happen. Uh, First of all, we were contacted by this uh, promoter organization, and he wanted to start to sell our gigs, but then he kind of find out that we were kind of a small band at the time still, and still are kind of a small band. But he told his friend, that happens to be Mauricio Iacono, that check this band out. And then Mauricio, when he heard our stuff, he contacted us, and he was like uh, he was saying that he could like do management for us, to become our manager. And we didn't take too long to think that when he was telling us what he can do, etc. And we tended to accept his offer. And from that point, it didn't take too long when Mauricio hit us up that there could be a chance that he could get us to a nuclear blast. And then he started to negotiate that thing, and eventually it also happened. I think it's when he started to negotiate it, it was like 2021 July or June, and the deal was made like in very late. Was it even 2021 or early 2022?
Uh, I don't remember. I can't
Yeah,
say,
but
but
it took a long time to negotiate the deal.
something like
Almost
how.
half a year.
Yeah, and well, after that the deal was forged in the meetings that they had, and the end result is it's a really good one. I mean, what the fuck? How small band? It's on the biggest metal label of the whole universe. So yeah, I don't know what else to ask.
Yeah, it still feel kind of an unrealistic thing.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So no, now talking about these new towers of the dying lands. For you, what song do you bring memories when you compose it? Because sometimes you have a preferred song into these 10 songs to play, perhaps to want
Yeah,
to play live. Perhaps it will be Servant, perhaps it will be Reveres, or perhaps it's Fall Apart. Who knows? And what do you think? What do you
yeah.
think about the aspect that some people says that Horizon Ignited plays a mix with melodic death metal with metalcore?
Mm, do you, Johannes, want to want to open that up a little bit?
So, are you looking for like for the song that kind of represents our band the best?
No, 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 not necessarily. Perhaps you have a preferred one into this new album to play
Ah,
live. Maybe you have a song that you bring memories
to,
Yeah,
when this was composed.
well, well, to
yeah, yeah,
me,
yeah.
well, to me, my favorite song for well, the favorite song from this album, it's definitely Beyond Your Reach. That's just my personal favorite. I mean, it's to me it's the best song in the album. It's fun to play, and it is definitely going to be a killer song when while played live. We got this massive breakdown going on in the middle section, and lots of hooks in the song. That's a really great one. Um, and the other one that I'm waiting curiously is even title of Abysmal Grief, the closing track for this album, because there's lots of dynamics built into that song, and I can't wait to see how the audience reacts to that. Kind of like you have this peaceful pace, a peaceful part in the song, and then it blows up uh, for the choruses, and then there's this well, I don't know what's the musical term for that part, but there's the one part where Okko is screaming, and we've got lots of dynamics on it, and there's a good story. There's a little bit drama on that song too. So at least it's been fun to play here in the rehearsal room. So can't wait to show it off to people while playing live.
I personally, what I wait to especially play live is a track called Guiding Light. Because while we were composing the song, it was like I think it was one of the most difficult ones that we work with. It took a long time that we finished that song, and when we finished the recording of the song and everything was mixed and mastered, and we heard the end result of the song, it like turned out much better than it was when we were writing it. And I am really waiting what kind of reaction we get from the live audience when we're going to play it live, because that it has that like really cool melodic stuff going on there, and this main riff that the song has, it like that very catchy and groovy feeling on it. So I really wait that one.
Okay, okay. So what's your opinion about the reviewers and fans talk about the Horacio Ignite plays a mix with metalcore with melodic metal? Because when I hear the first album and this new one, you are just a melodic death metal. I try to find the metalcore influence, but for me it doesn't exist. But I think for the other people's exists. So what do you think about this label?
The metalcore influences, they aren't from the modern metalcore at this point. I'd say they are more from like the metalcore of early 2000s. It might be a thing that, well, it might be a thing that we've kind of like figured out from our own work, but I still see or feel that there are people who can relate to this statement. But yeah, it isn't like, yeah, we're categorized as melodic death metal band, and I'd say there are those metal core vibes over there. It's just, it's not that much on top of everything, but there are riffs that aren't so much from the melodic death metal scene, I'd say. For example, from the first album, there's this track "Blame My Name." I feel like that has a lot of metalcore vibes on it. And well, from the second album, what would it be? Do you want to say it?
So it's kind of really hard to say that which have something and uh, which don't have it. Of course, the like if we have to categorize and put the main genre for the thing, it is a melodic death metal. That there's no question in that. But I'd say that there is like these little tiny pieces that are borrowed from the metalcore world. But yeah, it might be not it might be something that is not so obviously there, that you have like really dig deep into the song to find those elements.
Okay, okay, okay. Well, Horizon Ignited is relative a new band because you formed the band in 2017. Then 5 years later, we have this second album, Towers of the Dying and Dying Lands. So for you, what is the biggest strange that this new album has compared to a lot of productions are releasing day by day? We talking about 20, 15 or 30 release per day, talking about EPs, albums, singles. But now it's very difficult. It's very difficult for the fan, very difficult for the people to stick in one band or two bands.
Yeah. Mm.
I
Well,
mean, did you catch the question? I mean, I had really bad audio. It just was popping and.
yeah. So like, what makes us to like? Do you want to know like what make us to stand out? If to say so.
From the other bands.
If I understood you correctly.
Yes. That's great. That's great.
Well, I'd say that that the melodic death metal that we do, it's well, it's familiar. It has all the right elements. If you happen to be a fan of any melodic death metal band that has existed, I think there is a every song has something for you to try to grab on, and you find some familiar elements from there, but that's about it. I mean, if you dig deeper to those, our style of music or our style of writing these songs and the end results, the actual songs, yeah, they are melodic death metal, but at least I haven't heard any other band that does this kind of music. And that's the big muscle that we have behind this project. I mean, it's kind of uncomparable to the other projects. It's something new.
And also what I think helps us to like stand out is that there is uh, really lot of things happening around this band in very short amount of time. So I think that is also like one interesting point if we just look from the other person's perspective.
Yeah. And well, I don't feel like we've done everything everything what we can to kind of like make this band as unique as it could be, or it has potential to be. But we're on journey towards that point, and the next couple of records they are going to be like the records that seal the deal for Horizon Ignited. And well, it's hard to say what's up for the future, but I think so. What we have so far for the third album, we once again done something new and something that I haven't heard before, and I heard a lot of metal music, so it's looking really good. We've always got this element of surprise, and our visual kind of like theme is just about to like it's just about to be born. Like we've been working for the visual appearance of this band also, so yeah, we have a lot of good ideas how to
talking about now, as I said in the first question. So what do you think about now the digital platforms now? Is it good or is bad for the music? Because now the music is more surrounded around the social medias with Tidal, Spotify, iTunes, this kind of stuff. And with this new generation, these new people prefers to do the playlist. They with 1, 2, 3, or 4 songs into the digital platforms. So for you, the digital is good or is bad for the music now? And why the albums doesn't have the same impact compared to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s? Because now we see a cyclical time, and we are returning to the 40s and 50s when just singles are hearing at that time. But now the people is returning to this trend to hear just singles.
Yeah. I'd say it has its ups and downs. I think one of the upsides is that uh, it it is a lot easier to find to put your music to the people. The people has more possibilities to find your music. But then again, what comes to the singles and albums, I think in metal people still kind of like albums, and they like when they have something physical in their hands. They can just look at the booklet when they listen to the song and like that kind of stuff. And they like I personally I like both. I like if there's a good single, it's good. But if had like a physical copy of some song, I really dig to like just read the booklet and all the lyrics and stuff that is in there. So I don't know. The digitalization is not necessarily all bad, but it of course it has its own problems, so to
Okay.
say.
Okay. Okay. So we are very close
Yeah.
in this interview, Vili and Johannes. And what kind of plans, or what are your future, what kind, well, what are your future plans that the band has for these new towers of the day in life? Perhaps more videos in common, perhaps European tour, perhaps North American tours in the next couple months, or perhaps an who knows, and Southern and Latin or South American tours in the next couple years.
Well, that would be fun. Vili, could you please adjust your mic a little bit? There's a lot of wind noises coming here.
Yeah, I'm on the beach.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, the singles about the singles, that's about it. The four single tracks, they are out now, and the new album is coming out on 1st of July, which is exactly 1 month from this day. So that's about it for the album. And the main thing for this year after the album release is a European tour with Hypocrisy, Septic Flesh, and The Agonist. And that's a massive tour, and it's even more massive for us. I mean, it's something like 37 gigs in 17 countries here across the whole continent of Europe. So that will be something. I mean, yeah, we're still waiting for the Latin American tour. It would be
Of course,
really
we work towards to someday also to tour like United States and maybe Southern America, but I still feel that they are a little bit longer away. They're not like near future. We try to do as fast as we possibly can, but right now that our main focus on for this year is the European tour that is coming.
yeah. But I just can't wait for that winter to happen when I mean it's something like December, and then we have the flights to Mexico, somewhere in Latin America where it's warm and it's all summer and I can wear shorts again.
Yeah. Well, Vili and Johannes, it was a pleasure to talk with you both. I really love these Towers Deal Lies. I really enjoy all songs for this new one. It's a great example for melodic death metal on these days. So perhaps I hope someday we'll see you live, because I really enjoy your music. And when I really enjoy, I did my pre-order with Nuclear Blast. So I hope again. Perhaps do you want to add something to your new Latin American fans and Metalerium followers?
Yeah, new album coming out in 1st of July. Remember to pre-save it or maybe even pre-order it if you are able. And hopefully we get to play it to you somewhere in Latin America as soon as we can. That would be just fucking awesome. But until that, we're sorry. We're trying our best to make our way down there.
Right.
Yeah. See you on the gigs.
Yeah.
Me too.
Brazil, we are coming for you.
It might
Just
take some
wait.
time, but we are coming.
Just wait. It will be fucking epic once we arrive.